A call to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has sparked a city investigation into the old Cloquet Municipal Landfill. A caller says hazardous chemicals were dumped into the landfill during its period of operation. The landfill was closed during the 1970s. City officials say they don't know exactly what is in the landfill, but they'll find out. Also, during the MPCA investigation, several barrels were found about 800 feet from the St. Louis River. They were filled with powder and a green dye. A part of the old landfill is still in use as an approved demolition landfill. Senate ethics hearings will begin tomorrow against Duluth Senator Sam Solon. Solon pleaded guilty to phone fraud last month for giving his Senate phone code to his ex-wife. She then rang up about $2,400 in calls on the taxpayer's dime. The subcommittee is scheduled to make its recommendations next Tuesday. Sanctions could range from a reprimand to expulsion or possibly alternate sanctions such as a fine or losing seniority.
Police have identified a person killed in a car accident Monday in Superior's East End. 90-year-old Florence Holy of Washburn was driving along North 28th Street when her car slid over the center line and collided with a pickup truck. The truck struck the passenger side of the oncoming car. Police say poor weather conditions may have been a factor in the accident. Duluth police converged on a home near 13th Street and 3rd Avenue today following a report of domestic violence. Within minutes, an unidentified man was arrested. Prior to his arrest, family members told police he was argumentative, had been drinking, and there were guns in the house. At that point, nearby neighbors were asked to stay indoors and traffic was blocked to the area. After police made telephone contact with the man, he agreed to come outside where he was taken into custody without incident. He'll be arraigned tomorrow on 2 misdemeanor domestic assault charges.
It's been a difficult year for the Duluth Chum Center. Just before Thanksgiving, the organization's drop-in center was burned in an arson fire. And Christmas Eve, 2 new office computers were stolen. As a result, AM Security of Duluth is donating a security system to help stop any further losses. Chum staffers wonder why the crime would happen to them.
There is this sense when you come in the office in the morning is, will everything still be there? And just who would do this to us? Why would they do it?
The new security system will be installed tomorrow.
The snowmobiling season is becoming one of the deadliest in Minnesota history.
20 people have been killed in snowmobile accidents in just the past few weeks, with the most recent one Sunday here in the Northland.
Tamika Snowden reports this alarming trend has forced the DNR and others to take action.
Deaths related to snowmobiles are on the rise in the Northland, and just recently the Department of Natural Resources has called a meeting for January the 11th on what they can do to help reduce fatalities. Some snowmobilers think the DNR is making a great move.
I'm really glad that the DNR is calling the meeting because there is a genuine concern this year. We do have a problem out there, and I hope they're going to address issues such as enforcement. Our trail system was built back for the 70s, vintage machines, and I'm hoping they can look at maybe helping us along funding for major improvements to make these trails safer.
The most recent fatality happened south of Duluth along Highway 23. This is where the last fatality happened. Just this past Sunday, Gerald Milligan was struck and killed by a train as he attempted to cross these railroad tracks on a snowmobile.
I'd sure like to see something along that line in safety instruction. I know nowadays when you buy a brand new ATV, you have to attend a small class and watch a video on safety. And I don't think that's a bad idea for snowmobiles too. There are so many out there. There's just getting more every year.
Some snowmobilers believe that many riders are just not educated enough on the right techniques and safety of driving a snowmobile. They would mind if the DNR required a license to drive a snowmobile like you have to drive a car. Tamika Snowden, Channel 6 News.
The Superior Firefighters Union will talk to the City Council tonight about proposed cutbacks in Superior's Fire Department. Over the next 5 years, the city is planning to eliminate 11 of Superior's 44 firefighter positions through retirements and attrition. Some members of the union have told Channel 6 News they fear the cuts would put residents and the firefighters in danger. However, Fire Chief Steve Gutler says the department will not suffer from the cutbacks.
A national cable TV program is showing off the Northland to the rest of the country. The FX network show Breakfast Time does live reports from different cities each week. Today, Breakfast Time introduced Ely to millions of viewers around the nation.
Is trying to keep from getting frostbitten and also trying to get his microphones working in Ely, Minnesota, where, let's come in close, Spencer, if we might, on your temperature gauge here. It's what, minus 15 or so?
It's minus 10 now. It's warmed up 5 degrees.
Heck, no.
Stop whining.
It's downright balmy.
Now is the
Well, a breakfast time crew will be live from Spirit Mountain tomorrow morning. The show airs from 9 to 11 a.m. weekdays on the FX network.
Those Easterners just don't get it. You know,
Well, that is balmy. 10 degrees below.
Okay,
Heck,
we'll be
that's nothing.
watching. Up next, meteorologist Michael Prangley. Well, he's going to give the forecast to let them know just what they can expect tomorrow.
That's right, and later we'll introduce you to a man who performs major surgery and makes house calls, but his patients aren't human. We'll explain when the 6 o'clock news continues.
You're watching the #1 news at 6 o'clock, KBJR, with Michelle Lee, Dave Jensch, Tom Hansen, meteorologist George Kessler, and your Channel 6 news team.
Test 2-3. Let's look at our weather pattern for the next 5 days. Good evening, everybody. Temperatures quickly falling. You see today's high of 12 degrees. We're not going to see this normal type of weather as we go throughout the week. Keep that in mind. Bundle up. Temperatures falling quickly. 0 to Goose Egg at Hibbing. 5 degrees downtown in Superior right now, and no precipitation to worry about. High pressure in control. Clear skies, and the north wind at 8 miles per hour. As we go through this evening, this north wind will continue to diminish, and that'll help set up some perfect radiational cooling conditions as we head into tonight. Looking at some more temperatures tonight, not only quickly cooling here, but throughout Minnesota. Minneapolis now down to 16 degrees. Over toward Fargo, already below 0 at -2. And toward the Dakotas, you can see 2 degrees. Bismarck 17 to Pierre, where they're also heading toward the sub-zero weather. Wind chills, good thing is we're not going to have to worry about too much in the way of wind chills, with some mainly calm winds throughout much of the upper Midwest. Now let's look at the big picture. I need 10 minutes to talk about weather tonight. So much energy out there, but it's not going to happen, so let's go as quick as we can. This satellite picture actually will show us the weather pattern not only for today, but what's happening today, but for the next 5 days. And you'll see a huge trough digging out into the midsection of the country. Look at all the energy spilling south. In fact, it helped form a storm over New Year's and is now sitting near Tennessee right about here. Basically, on this side of the 130-mile-per-hour jet stream winds, we're going to see below normal temperatures and above normal precipitation, especially to the south and just to the east of the jet stream. And then to the west, we're expecting above normal weather. As you see, the ridge has built in this region. Eventually, this ridge will break down as we get toward later in the weekend. But until then, it's the polar vortex. You can see clearly in this clear area here, that's cold air that's just sinking toward us, and that will take over, literally take over our weather over the next 5 days. Notice this cirrus streak, a very impressive. See the stripe right down toward Mexico, just to the north of Cuba and up toward Jacksonville, Florida? That is actually the subtropical jet. So much cold air is diving south that the subtropical jet is well toward the south, toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and it will remain there for the good part of the next 5 days. On the radar, very busy across the country. As we zoom in, we have quite an impressive snow event taking place. The snow line right now toward the Mason-Dixon line and just north of Cincinnati. And as we go through tonight, we have another storm developing right about here off Norfolk that will quickly head up to Massachusetts and give them possibly 14 inches of snow. For us, we're watching another storm over the next 24 to 36 hours, mainly affecting Montana and Wyoming. Will not affect us. And as we look at our weather forecast, let's get to it. For tonight, we're looking for temperatures dropping off rapidly, 20 below on the range to 10 below, even toward downtown Duluth. How about that? As we go into tomorrow, look for temperatures and sunshine. Temperatures won't go up a whole lot, as you can see, with highs of just near 10 degrees. And then by Thursday, looking for a few flurries. We'll watch out for the lake effect, though, with highs only 5 to 10 degrees. And the big 5-day outlook, well, single-digit weather. In fact, Friday and Saturday, we cool down even more. And then by late in the weekend, that weather pattern change will actually be able to take place. But when it warms up here, watch out for the snow. And it looks like for the short term, no big snows to worry about, just the colder, drier air. But toward the end of the weekend, we'll watch out for a big change. Okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Mickey.
All right.
Now here's a look at what's making some of the stories making headlines around the nation and the world tonight. AT&T has announced the company will eliminate 40,000 jobs nationwide. Most of the cuts are expected this year.
An oil spill has polluted the water supply of dozens of villages in Russia's Ural Mountains. Around 100 tons of oil spilled from a pipeline that leaked last week. And 5 major tobacco companies claim the government is behaving unconstitutional in its efforts to stop kids from smoking. The Food and Drug Administration wants the tobacco companies to stop certain advertising claims.
Still ahead on your 6 o'clock news, crashing computers. No, not ours.
We'll introduce you to a man who comes to the rescue when your computer decides to call it quits. This story and more when we come back. Computers have opened up a whole new range of possibilities for the world.
Things like CD-ROM drives, motherboards, lightning-quick processors all add up to a new age, but none of these toys are useful if the computer doesn't work.
Jeff Pappas introduces us to a man who has the answers when your machine doesn't.
He's a man who makes you nervous if you own a computer, because if you see him, there's a question you can't answer. Scott Graves has run Datacom Computers in Duluth for 7 years, and now he's on call.
We do some home calls, but it's mostly related to the original business calls to begin with.
Graves is making a house call at Arrowhead Printing in Superior, installing a tape drive in one computer and fixing a software problem in another. For businesses, when a computer goes down, there's no time to waste.
Absolutely critical. Can't get along without them. Our graphics are all computerized. Our office is all computerized. When we're down, we're dead in the water.
Though he works primarily with businesses, Graves has a number of private customers too, and you wouldn't believe the problems he finds.
Kids will see mom and dad put stuff in and out of the floppy disk, so they have to do it too. And since they don't have disks usually, because the parents keep those away from the kids, they tend to put whatever they can find.
Or if you're a parent, maybe you would.
Bananas and oatmeal and, I don't know, stuff that kids wouldn't eat, I suppose, stuffed in there.
Sometimes the work is physical, other times not. And as a man who knows what most of us don't, Graves has to resist the feeling that he changes his clothes in a phone booth and is afraid of kryptonite.
I try not to be intimidating, but sometimes people look at me as being intimidating, but I'm just a guy, unlike anybody else. I just happen to know what the technology is, because that's all I ever do.
Graves gets friendly advice from some of his clients, but he says sometimes the best weapon in the business is a sense of humor. In Superior, Jeff Pappas, Channel 6 News.
Don't try that at home. Well, Greaves says the most common home problem he's experienced lately is from owners who can't install the new Windows 95 operating system on their machines.
Scott, can you take care of caramel on the bottom one of those? I don't suppose they work real well, do
No,
they?
I don't think so. But a hammer could.
I've had the problem. Up next in sports, some Cinderella stories come to an end after yesterday's big bowl games.
That's right. Plus, the Bulldog hockey team is at home tonight to take on some international competition all the way from Switzerland. Gina Monroe is in for Tom Hansen with all the day's sports next.
One, two, three, four. The UMD hockey team opens the new year by playing a select team from Switzerland tonight at the deck. The UMD hockey team opens the new year by playing a select team from Switzerland tonight at the deck. The Swiss team includes at least 4 members of the country's national team, and they're finishing up a 4-game holiday tour here in the States. The Swiss opened that tour with a 6-0 loss to the Gophers, but have since bounced back with 6-5 wins over Mankato State and Wisconsin. The Dogs are on a high of their own, beating Vermont and Dartmouth last weekend in tournament play. But the Bulldogs know they're in for some stiff international competition tonight.
I don't know, they're one of the better teams in Swiss, so they're going to be probably flying around us. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up to them, burn off all that turkey we got on. So
I'm expecting to be pretty skilled and you know, to learn a few things from them, and hopefully we'll get some shots on net.
You can rest be assured they're going to be pretty good. They've invested heavily in the American and Canadians to come over and teach the game to the Swiss, and certainly have had a lot of success in the international play as of late.
Again, that game is tonight at 7 at the deck. Kids 12 and under are free with a paid adult. And the Hibbing girls hockey team continued their winning way today by outscoring Cretin Durham Hall 8-1. Amber Fricklin led Hibbing with 4 goals and 3 assists in the team's big 7-point win. Well, the new year brought in a barrage of college bowl games yesterday and last night, with most notably the fairy tale season of the Northwestern Wildcats coming to an end in the Rose Bowl. Third-ranked Northwestern put on a memorable show in its first college football bowl game since 1949, but along with turnovers and a tough Southern Cal team, they were stopped short of the Rose Bowl crown, losing to the Trojans 41-32. Then in the Orange Bowl, it was Danny Cannell in Florida State who rallied from a 12-point deficit. Cannell threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes in the final 10 minutes to beat Notre Dame 31-26. And tonight it's the Fiesta Bowl, where the national championship is at stake when first-ranked Nebraska takes on number 2 Florida. Florida is shooting for its first title, while the Cornhuskers are trying to become the first college football team to win back-to-back titles since Alabama in '78 and '79. Both teams had plenty of compliments to pay one another.
Werfel is a tremendously accurate passer. You know, I don't think we've seen a passer that gets the ball where it has to be as often as he does and as regularly as he does.
Oh, I think they're a little bit bigger and stronger and just a more powerful team as far as running the ball. Different styles, and for us to have a chance at Nebraska, we've got to slow them down. We've got to make them punt some. We've got to get them off the field, not let them dominate us. So that'll be our defensive plan, try to get them off the field.
The Green Bay Packers head into the second round of playoffs Saturday with a rookie guard who has half a game of NFL experience. Adam Timmerman is a 7th-round draft choice from South Dakota State who hadn't played a down from scrimmage all season. He replaced left guard Aaron Taylor just before halftime in the Packers' 37-20 wildcard victory over Atlanta on Sunday. Taylor was carted off with a torn tendon in his left knee. He underwent surgery today to repair the injury. Taylor will miss the rest of the playoffs and possibly the 1996 season. Well, the Timberwolves will face the Houston Rockets tonight at Target Center. The Wolves are 7-20 going into tonight's contest, having lost 8 of their past 9 games. 20-8 Houston has won 4 of its past 6, despite the absence of Clyde Drexler, who's questionable for tonight. Game time at Target Center is set for 7 o'clock. And the Bucks will face the New Jersey Nets at Meadowlands Arena tonight for the first time since the Nets obtained center Sean Bradley from Philadelphia. Game time is set for 6:30. And Dave and Michelle, nice to see the Bulldog hockey team back in town. And I should also mention the UMD men's basketball team is in sunny Tampa tonight playing St. Leo College down there in a tournament. So
St. Leo.
St. Leo.
Nobody's ever heard of St. Leo.
Don't know St. Leo personally, but it's in Tampa.
And perfect timing to get away from the cold snap.
Exactly.
Lucky boys.
Thanks, Gina.
Sure.